Uh, my opponent argues my point that abolishing prisons will lead to more crime with saying that only 1% of 2.5 million people have committed violent crimes. While I cannot argue this statistic because she once again failed to post a citation on the website, however, if the statistic is true, with the abolition of prisons, we will be putting tens of thousands of violent criminals back on the street. Although that isn't a huge number, it still is a lot of people who are very violent to allow to wander the streets. It is also pretty obvious that if a criminal can get away with his or her violent act without any consequence, they most likely will commit the acts again. Also, according to drugwarfacts.org, a little over half of the federal prison population is composed of people who have committed a crime associated with drug use. This makes her point invalid because the criminal activity on the streets would still be worse. On top of the problem with releasing tens of thousands of murderers/violent criminals, we will also be allowing the illegal drug ring to continue to prosper, making the streets less safe. Since nearly half of the inmates in prison are associated with drugs, releasing them will only allow them to go back to their criminal lifestyles. Also, she argued that the impact on the economy isn't valid because I did not put a value on the amount of money the government would have to issue out. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median pay of a prison guard is about $39,000. So if you do 50,000 people times $39,000, you get $1.95 billion. And if unemployment pays for about half of that, getting rid of prisons would put 50,000 plus people out of work while also costing the government approximately $1 billion for just 1 year. Lastly, she argues my point about how inmates who receive an education in prison are less likely to return to prison. She argues this by saying that only the education prevents them from returning to not the prisons. However, she failed to recite the part of the argument where I said many of the inmates receiving this education would not be able to receive it unless they were in prison. While prison isn't the best way to get your life together, prison allows many inmates the opportunity they need to receive an education or get out of the drug ring. Lastly, she says she does use citations. However, once again, she failed to post her citations to the page on the website, so any information she states, I cannot look up and search for myself. So once again, the information given is not necessarily credible. I believe I deserve to win this argument because I use proper citations throughout my argument. Also, any counterpoint she has had to my argument, I answered them in a way where it clearly makes sense. Also, I deserve to win because I have offered more problems with the resolution than she fails to answer. Next, I should win this debate because although she denies some of my arguments because I did not place a value on it, she cannot deny the inevitable effect my argument would have on society. Thank you.